Welcome back to the final episode of whatever you want to call this little adventure with the Thrash team at this point. A simple plan, a simple video, and this simple combination would lead to one thing: drift. But where though? Bihoku Highland Circuit. Initially, the plan was to head out to Meihan Sportsland, but instead we headed out to Bihoku Circuit because we just wanted to try something new, just for this one time. The guys haven't drifted cars in years at this point, but in about 6 days from the time this video was initially shot, that was all finally going to change. Bihoku has a large history dating back from Ikaten, D1 Street Legal, and many memories outside of the mainstream spotlight. Now that Operation Let's Finally Fucking Go Drifting, copyright, was now 24 hours away before completion, the decision from our last video now hanged firmly in the balance. Is the Miata going, or is the FRS going? Drum roll, please. It's the Miata. The Miata's the car we're using. As predicted, the parts weren't going to arrive in time, so AG's trusty Miata was now going to fill the void. Kinda sucks because we're all hoping to see how the FRS was going to perform after all of his modifications and bringing it back to life, but I guess that'll have to wait for a later date. Thankfully, there was no rush since at the time of filming, the borders for Japan were still closed, and primarily the focus of the FRS is for the KW's drift car rental service. So for us, it didn't make any sense to rush it for this one event for this one time because it'll see plenty of action in the future. Anyway, what's kind of funny is the Miata's in a similar situation as the S13, as it was left untouched since COVID started and had limited use before that. Not to mention, some of you who have sharp ears probably heard the car's putt-putt condition. But whether it was 100% or not, we were still set to go to Bihoku regardless. Since we had Yusef brief us on his car in the last episode, I only felt it was right for AJ to talk about his machine in the beginning of this one. We had 24 hours until Bihoku with Yusef's yellow rocket and AJ's blue bomber, then we had 48 hours until we had to do our little wrap up of this entire trip, and then finally 72 hours before Video Man Alex's departure to depression. Oh, and stick around until the end. There's a extremely yup, this is Japan moment during our ride back to the airport. After days and days and days, finally our timeline had been set in stone, and all we needed to do now was do some skids of our own. So without further ado, welcome to another episode of The Rash, and we hope you guys enjoy.
All this shit's good. No. All this shit good. All this shit good. God damn! Short. No, wait, no, just up. Turn that shit off.
As we open up our view to the skies above the busy city of Osaka, it's time to descend and meet up with AG and Yusef for a ride to Thrash HQ. But before heading that way, we need to pick up the second section, being AG section. You see, we already have one for the Miata's transport, the same one we use for the R33's transport to the body shop, so AG section would be the one transporting the S13, which only had a minuscule amount of things to touch up on before we left. So within about a day's time, we would be making noises at Bihoku, which according to AG involved me driving as well. I hadn't driven since like 2014 or 15, so I initially denied the offer, but neither Yusef or AG were gonna take a no for an answer.
Tomorrow. But are you ready to go dwarfing tomorrow?
I'm ready to watch AG go dwarfing.
No, you going drifting, dog. You drifting. You drifting. I'm too excited now. I've been watching Scared Straight. I'm like, you want to drift? Huh? You came all the way to Japan, huh? And you ain't want to drift? Get in the car. Drift. Show me what you made of. You gonna use this as a green screen?
Yep. For the record, AG never slows down for these. So AG, now it's your turn to talk about your car. So what has been done to your Miata?
This is a test 2.3 liter from Atenza. Maybe USA name Mazda 3, Mazda 5. 2.3 liter NA engine, but OEM 2.0. And Atenza front four-wheel drive. Need to change all parts, front cover, oil pan, other housings, easy. NA model, easy to install. And maybe United Kingdom or BBR turbo kit there.
That
Yeah. And I used 2.5 liter engine. And turbo. I wanna see that car drifting. Maybe so fucking fast. Yes.
You haven't driven since last time drift?
3 years ago.
3 years?
Yeah, 2 years,
So
3 years.
3 years, 4, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Yusef, when was the last time you drove? 3 years or 4 years?
Focus is business. Goals, drift.
Just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like grip too. Before I made full throttle SR S setting.
Oh, the NA.
Yes. Now shot stacking
Yeah.
was fun and no trouble.
Yeah.
Grip running. One day I 300 reps over.
300?
Yes. No trouble. And drifting. Of course, I want more Miata, but Yusef Focus is now 86. My Focus is 86 is better. Miata is fun. Or some customer coming. I have time. I wanna drift somewhere. Okay.
So are you ready for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fun. Yusef and me and Alex. Perfect.
No.
Perfect. You drive.
Where are we driving at tomorrow? Where? Toko.
Bihoku.
Bihoku.
Bihoku Beagles. Yeah.
Have you
and-
driven there with this car?
Yeah. And very popular course. There many times.
Yeah, because it's open just all the time, right? Yeah, okay.
Now, like I said before, even though the Miata is going to be the one taking the place of the FRS, we still need to button some stuff up. And while me and AJ were having our conversation, Yusef was working on it, and he was having a great
Y'all
time.
want to play games with me, huh? Y'all want to lose one bolt? I'm trying to find a bolt because you know what? I lost a bolt. Because that's just how it goes when you work on cars, you know? And when things get crazy, I get crazy. And when I get crazy, you don't want to be around me. I'm fucking losing my mind. We got a winner, chicken dinner? No. Loser, chicken, loser. This is the last one. Oh, it's loser, chicken, hoe bag ass loser. Damn, I literally only have one fucking bolt. So I'm trying to put on the power brace, but it uses stock bolts. And I was like, wait, where are the stock bolts? Sometime, someplace. And now I don't know where they are.
A few moments later.
Yusef, man, you find your stuff.
Man, that thing's in there, man.
You did it, man.
I'm the best.
You're the best, man.
I did it.
Soon after the lightweight tinkering of the FRS was finished, the sun was beginning to set for the day. It was time to get AJ's Miata onto the tow truck for the track day, along with the S13 not far from it. Before plopping the S13 onto its resting place, though, we had a special delivery coming from Origin Lab, which was actually hand-delivered, which this was the second time this happened. Kinda crazy.
Last minute shit. Not that important, but kind of important. Origin dropped off a wing somebody didn't want. Bing bong. Bam.
And And just like that, it was time to get the S13 on the section. Fortunately and unfortunately, we found some last minute things on the S13 like a stripped oil pan bolt, loose steering column, and some other stuff, but like I said before, we were set on going regardless. And yes, for those of you who watched the Getting to Know AG episode, this is the section that has the motorized platform that goes from the ground level to the tow truck level. Really easy to get lower cars onto it without breaking any kits and shit. No guarantees, but it's not a AAA tow truck. All things considered, we were finally in the last stretch before setting the cars in Bihoku. All we had to do now was fill up the S13 for the track day, get a night's rest, regroup in the morning, and then buckle up for about 2.5 to 3 hours until we land at Bihoku, where the Miata will be awaiting us. The skids are so close, yet so far. How much was that?
Here?
Yeah.
5,500 yen?
American.
US dollar?
Yeah.
50.
What?
$50. If you can pay doll, 30.
What the fuck? Yeah. America? This would be like $250.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. What? Holy fuck did we choose a day, dude, because it is dead. There's only one other car here that's gripping, and I'm just flabbergasted. We probably could just drive all day if we really wanted to. It would just be us, and there'd be so much seat time. I can only imagine if people like book a trip or whatever and like come here on a weekday like we are today. Like there's just nobody here. There's the big ass course, obviously the very notable like D1 course with the big ass entry, and then long time ago that's where like the S13 like slid and went up the mountain and got onto the top. I think it was like over here, but like there's just so much fucking track for just us. I'm pretty sure the boys just want to drive and just have some fun. AG's trying to get me to drive his fucking Miata. I haven't driven in like 6 or 7 years. We'll see. I'll probably be trash, but on a day like this, I can't even like really be that mad about my performance then. So Yusef and AG just did like their first runs just to kind of get an idea how the cars are going, how they feel. It looks like AG's little misfire thing kind of came back. It sounds like it. I heard it as he was coming down the straight, but Yusef's car looks pretty solid. So I guess we'll just go follow up with them and see how the cars feel.
Okay. So hot.
It was actually so hot whenever I asked the guys about how the cars were doing, they were too busy catching their breath and pounding waters and then heading right back out into the track. Yusef was taking it easy throughout the early stages of the day. You know, RHD drifting compared to LHD drifting can be quite the curve to get used to, especially if it's been a while, but with each lap he was making more and more progress throughout the day. AG, on the other hand, was throwing down some pretty solid runs right out of the gate, but occasionally he would have to shake off the rust and consider the human factor before throwing down yet again, kind of getting out of his groove for a second and then getting right back in it with another run. I too drove, but being the video guy and having only about 4 hours of the track day, I wanted to focus more on shooting than driving that day. So maybe next time you can see my trash on display. With all the experience we had throughout the month, from our nightly shenanigans to meeting new people and experiencing new experiences, I'm pretty sure I could have wrote that better, this was just the perfect way to top things off. And this complicated testing session of old geezers relearning young skills went relatively smoothly. You see, everything was going well up until a couple of things became apparent, like Yusef's motor feeling a bit off then earlier in the day, and then you had AJ's Miata starting to overheat a little too often from the hot laps and just the heat from the ground. Thankfully, this all came to fruition during the last like 30 to 45 minutes of the session, so we didn't have much left to do. We still needed to pack up and unload the cars when we got back, blah, 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 but we had about 3.5 to 4 hours of driving for the day, and we all felt pretty satisfied.
Boys obviously enjoyed themselves today. We had some fun runs today. Everybody's kind of in the learning process today, and everybody's kind of coming out of retirement and drifting today. The guys are about to put the cars on the tow trucks, which actually they both are. You probably can see them. No craziness. Obviously, we're not throwing like Mahon entries and stuff. A lot of us are coming out of retirement of drifting. Obviously, it's just kind of like the resurgence to driving again, and now being able to come back to Japan and like start recording stuff again. I think is going to be the next voyage and the whole thrash, like, you know, thing that we're trying to do here. Also, pro tip for any of you who are going to be coming to Japan: if you go to a place of business, somebody that you know that owns a store or shop, make sure to hit up their vending machine, because it's kind of like a show of appreciation of their time and their work. Good old like way to say thank you.
Do you like it when it's this empty?
It's like personal track today.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you guys want to come drifting, be very wise to choose Bihoku on a weekday, because as you can see, literally nobody here.
And so cheap.
Yeah, and it's really cheap.
How much was it to drift here?
Go-San-Yen, which right now is like $35. And there's no run groups on a weekday. It's just go, pull back in, do whatever you need to do, and then go back out until your car explodes or you crash it or something. So it's great. I highly suggest it. I'm fucking tired. I'm dying. It's so hot, but it's really fun. It's been like 2.5 years, more than 2.5 years since I've been drifting. More than 2.5 years since I drove that car. I had to kind of figure out what the fuck I was doing. I like got in the car and I was like, wait, what the fuck do I even do in here? Maybe in the middle of the day, I was like, oh, okay, I'll start drifting here, and then I'll come around this way. Oh yeah, that's how this shit works. And then practicing third to second, because I still don't have that down in right-hand drive. There's not many like safe places to practice it in Japan. Like in America, you can just go to a fucking big parking lot and third to second, bang, all day, spin out, hit a cone, whatever. But here it's like third to second mess up. Shit, you already know what happens when you fucking crash at this track. And Mahon. But yeah, no, I'm stoked. That was fun. I'm tired. I want a bath and I want to go to sleep. Now!
I figured I should mention this, especially if you do plan on going to Bihoku and feel like it might be a little too daunting at first sight. Maybe you're starting out or not accustomed to the car setup. There is a smaller course right across the way, and apparently we had access to both when we paid. So if you're still on the beginner side or just feel uncomfortable to going for like a bigger track like Bihoku, you do have the option for the simpler one. Speaking for myself briefly, I did feel some type of way leaving Bihoku with so many texts, conversations, and hints about going here for weeks, hell even months. It was great knowing that we finally did it, even though situation wasn't exactly perfect. It would have been so cool to see the Turbo FRS riding alongside the S13, but I'm sure those two will be in a video together someday. Either way though, this day was a blast. With our session / track day now officially over, it was time to pack our asses in the Sekshas and make our way back to Osaka to get some dinner and some sleep so we can have some energy to regroup the next day. Alright, so for those who haven't noticed, this little series aims to provide an idea of what you can experience on a KW trip and give you some insight on both where KW and Thrash are at the time of filming. Everything from the late night to daytime and everything in between is something you can experience with KW. So with that in mind, it was time to regroup with Yusef and ask him how this beta test worked overall.
In these videos is us as a team working together, trying to make things happen in a foreign country. There's ups, there's downs. There's hardships, laugh, smile, cry, sleepless nights, early mornings, late nights. But in the end, we get it done because that's what we do. If I was going to Bihoku as a customer with me, for example, like you going with us, it was pretty seamless and simple. We got picked up and we went to the track and we had 2 people there ready to fix the car at a moment's notice, do anything we needed. And you never hear this here. I actually had a phone call the other day with a potential customer who, you know, I want to find out who you are, what you like, what you don't like, how old you are, if you're single, because we might take you to some places that are quite interesting that your girlfriend or boyfriend might not like. Yeah, that your partner might not like. So, you know, if you want to go drifting, we'll take you drifting. It's really easy. The car will be set up for you We have the narrow and the wide seats because some people just don't fit in regular bucket seats, so that'll be ready for you. If you want to go at 8 in the morning, we can go at 8 in the morning. If you want to go at noon, we can go at noon. It doesn't matter, it's up to you. I'm not telling you how to have your trip here. I'm like a Sherpa. I'm a Japanese tour Sherpa where I can take you places and show you things. Yeah, and if you don't want to come for drifting and you still like cars, like there's plenty of shops, racetracks, and other things we can check out. But on top of that, like there's tons of good food, there's tons of weird, cool places to hang out, like here. Like this is probably one of the most like debauchery-filled locations in Osaka, like on a Friday or Saturday night. So yeah, well, if you like want to go to bars and clubs and just party, I can do that very well. I'd way rather like introduce you to Japan and drifting and stuff this way. I wanted to put literally every penny I had into making a sick ass stronghold for all the foreign people to come over and hang out in Japan. They got the clean shit. They got that good shit. Ma'am, please tell me about your outfit.
As we were finally making our way out of Amimura for some snacks, this building right here was having a concert on the bottom floor, which was only viewable through the glass and this monitor. Before we even got an idea of what was going on, we were told we couldn't record, but this is just one of those random encounters you get when coming out of Amimura. Even though both trips were separated from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic experiences, each person we met on both trips made us feel less like tourists or outsiders, and more like a valued member of their close-knit community. And it seems like it was especially predominant in Taisho, maybe because it's naturally a tight-knit area, or we were with an AG and just met the right people along the way. But this time around, like, it was really inviting, and that tourist like shell definitely started to deteriorate the longer we stayed, at least pertaining to my own personal experience. All I can do now is hope that we're able to do this again in the future as a group, from everything that we experience now to do it all over again in the future, sooner rather than later.
This is that moment when you realize you're in fucking Japan.
And just like that, that's the second that's the second and final video from 2022, wrapping up our last year's coverage, and of course preparing for everything that's going to be going forward in 2023. We've already done a couple of things. We've been to Bihoku, we went to Meihan, we helped Bai's car go in the trailer to stack. We're going to be going to Final Bout in the future, so there's a lot of things we are looking forward to, and we just hope you guys enjoy, and I guess we'll just see you guys then. So as per usual, I'm Alex with Rash Racing, and we'll see you guys in the next video.